Good evening and thank you for joining us. A local homeless outreach organization is calling for more support from city leadership. Officials with Elevate NWO praise the work of city staff working on the ground level, but say support from city council is lacking. Vasilios Bellos is following the story and he joins us live in studio with the details. Vasilios?
Thanks, Riley. The organization's executive director says only 3 city council members have directly reached out to her since the election last fall. That's not nearly as many as she hoped, considering how much of a focus was placed on homelessness on the campaign trail. A call for more support from city council to address homelessness.
With few exceptions, it seems to be falling on deaf ears.
Elevate NWO, a homeless outreach organization that supports those living outdoors and connects them to housing, estimates 33 people are currently living in encampments. That's 3 times as many as this time last year. With the numbers increasing in recent years, Executive Director Holly Govan is calling for more support from City Council. Govan says while 3 councillors have reached out to support the organization, she expected more, considering what she saw on the campaign trail.
Going out into the camps and taking selfies and pictures of homeless encampment and posting themselves as these people who are fighting for the little people, for the people who are struggling. And then I saw them completely disappear once people were elected.
Govan does say city staff and those working on the ground have been incredibly helpful in supporting their cause. And while Thunder Bay is currently seeing record numbers of those living outdoors, Elevate officials still feel it's not a full representation of the issue.
Our homeless numbers are much greater than we ever imagined. I think that there's a lot of people who are hidden and hard to reach. Whenever I talk about the numbers, I always talk about these are the people that are known to us. There's always people out there who are not known to us.
TBT News reached out to the Thunder Bay District Social Services Board, though no one was available for an interview. The DSAB did provide a written response, saying it's increased emergency shelter capacity this week to support those living outdoors. The organization also says a funding announcement for new transitional housing spaces will be made soon, but the units are not yet ready and available for those who need them. Vasilios Bellos, TBT News.
A Thunder Bay murder trial is expected to wrap up tomorrow. 33-year-old Dustin Moffet has pleaded not guilty to second-degree murder in the death of 16-year-old Cody Furioso in June of 2021. The Crown laid out its case against Moffet over the past 3 days. The fatal altercation took place on James Street, just north of the Swing Bridge. 2 youths suffered stab wounds. Furioso was stabbed in the stomach and was pronounced dead in hospital. Police later found Moffet unconscious near the scene, and he was transported to hospital for a suspected overdose. The next day, Moffet was charged with second-degree murder and aggravated assault. The other victim, who was 17 at the time, testified on Monday that Moffet was the assailant. The court has also been shown surveillance footage of the fight between the 2 teens and a person in dark clothing. Another video taken before the altercation showed Moffet pushing a bike and walking with another person in the area. The judge will hear final submissions tomorrow. The full story can be found on tbnewswatch.com. The MPP for Thunder Bay Atikokan was in the city today for a trio of funding announcements. Kevin Holland says the 3 grants from the arm's-length Trillium Foundation will go towards capital projects for local nonprofits.
Today's announcement of $340,000 addresses infrastructure needs, promotes healthy living, and ensures that our communities and agencies remain vibrant and sustainable.
Holland made the announcements at the Regional Food Bank. The RFDA is receiving $150,000 to turn a section of their warehouse into a meat processing facility. Bintigan Anishinaabe Women's Crisis Home will get over $120,000 to replace the windows at their North End Women's Shelter. And Thunder Bay Gymnastics is getting almost $70,000 to put towards new gym equipment.
Imagine a big stainless steel, climate-controlled facility that has all of the waters and waste water treatment areas. It will allow us to be able to procure and package and cut the meat.
Unfortunately, at this time, none of our windows are resident rooms open, those windows open. So with them opening, it will promote more of a healthy balance with that those traditional 4 4-direction winds coming in and providing more sunlight in the house.
This is a huge thing for us. As a not-for-profit, we're always looking for ways we can improve ourselves, but also not spend a lot of money because we want to keep things as affordable as possible.
Holland says he's pleased to see Trillium investing in these local organizations. All 3 projects are expected to be completed in 2024. Local officials are reacting to the federal government's announcement yesterday to completely phase out the sale of gas-powered vehicles by 2035. Here in the Northwest, those plans may cause some issues for drivers due to the harsh winter conditions and long highway commutes. Josh Morano has the details.
On Tuesday, Environment Minister Stephen Guilbeault announced the ambitious target for Canada's first ever nationally regulated electric vehicle mandate. As of 2035, all vehicles sold in the country must emit zero emissions. Ken Shields is an organizer for the Electric Vehicle Association of Northern Ontario. He says the shift to fully electric vehicles was just a matter of time, and regardless of the plan, electric car sales will continue to rise.
It's a worldwide phenomenon. All the manufacturers are going EV. They've all got different timelines, but certainly by 2035, when you go downtown to any of the dealers here, they'll have a good selection of electric cars.
For areas like northwestern Ontario, the change could pose some issues. With large stretches of untouched land, the consistent yet unpredictable highway closures due to collisions, a lack of charging stations, and extreme weather conditions all introduce more obstacles for the battery life of electric vehicles. Wendy Landry is the president of NOMA and mayor of Shunia, and while she says it's a great plan, she wonders how feasible it really is.
So let's just take this past weekend for an example. 3 road closures, northwestern Ontario. Our highways were closed longer than they were open over a 3-day span. And the traffic and the backlog on Highway 1117. And what if we had 100% electric vehicles in those lineups? What would we have done? And I just can't imagine that we will have the ability to put the infrastructure in the time frame.
Patrick Trevisan-Nuto is a managing partner for Halfway Motor Group in Thunder Bay. He says they have been selling electric vehicles for over 10 years, but the sales declined once the provincial government cut rebates in 2018. He says, however, with more manufacturers in the EV game, improvements to overall performance, and a potential cheaper price point, it may bring some people to all electric again.
So from practicality purpose, it makes complete sense. And I think overall they're fun to drive, they're a better vehicle. That's where the new technology is. But it's just going to be a matter of getting the consumer over the chasm into mass adoption.
The federal government is requiring 20% of vehicles to emit zero emissions by 2026, by 2030, 60%, and finally 100% of all vehicles to be electric by 2035. Josh Morano, TBT News.
The Thunder Bay Community Traffic Awareness Committee launched its annual Take Control of Winter public safety campaign this afternoon. The committee staged a live demonstration of 2 cars stopping on an icy surface to see how well all-season tires would fare against winter tires. Joe Sadowski has the story.
Despite the warmer conditions our region has seen this winter so far, the importance of road safety for the inevitable snowfall still remains critical.
Driving without winter tires is something I would never recommend after this test.
To demonstrate the big differences between winter and all-season tires, the Community Traffic Awareness Committee and the Thunder Bay District Health Unit, along with 2 hometown celebrities, were able to demonstrate 2 minivans, one with winters and the other with all seasons, trying to stop on the icy surface. It's safe to say all seasons don't quite measure up to the traction of the winters on slick roads, and Mayor Ken Boshkov, who is one of the guest drivers, couldn't agree more.
Well, as a cautious driver, without those winter tires, it was unbelievable how much you slide. So it really is an enlightening experience, so don't even dare try it without them.
You know, I think it's really important that they do understand that. We saw here today again that the distance and sort of the driving pattern at the end of the skid there, and I think it's really important that people understand that little bit of distance is going to really help you should you be in a situation where you might not be able to stop soon enough, given the road conditions and that type of thing. So, it's really important that you consider having those tires.
Even if you have winter tires, the Traffic Awareness Committee has provided a list of valuable winter driving tips that could save you from a costly collision. Leave plenty of space from the vehicle in front of you. Always check and maintain your car's tire pressure, and always keep a safety kit handy in your vehicle, and to make sure to check the forecast before getting behind the wheel. Joe Sadowski, TBT News.
A potential merger of two credit unions in Northern Ontario is moving to the next stage of the process. Copperfin Credit Union, based here in the Northwest, is looking to merge with Northern Credit Union, based in Sault Ste. Marie. Copperfin has 3 branches in Thunder Bay, 1 in Kenora. Northern Credit Union has 2 branches in Thunder Bay, 1 in Red Rock, and about 24 spread around other parts of Ontario. Back in October, the two boards unanimously approved proceedings with the work required to bring the financial institutions together. The boards have pegged January 2025 as a tentative date for the planned merger. Assuming regulatory approvals are received, credit union members will then get a chance to vote on the merger. The move is aimed at bringing enhanced capabilities and value for the members and solidifying their commitment to delivering top financial services in the North. Well, if you drove by St. Bernard's School early this afternoon, you may have noticed hundreds of young carolers singing their favorite holiday tunes outside on River Street. Nearly the entire school gathered outside after their Advent Mass to sing some holiday classics for the people passing by and the proud parents watching from across the street. St. Bernard Principal Cynthia Gordon says it's all about sharing the Christmas spirit with the community.
So one of our teachers, Mr. Schmenka, has done this for years, brings our junior students out to sing. We've got the music, we've got the parents. It's just a positive atmosphere. Both our school community, the broader community, people walking by, people driving by, honking and smiling because it brings joy.
And it's nice to see all the little kids out here, all the bigger kids with the Santa hats, the elf ears, and everybody's out here and ready to celebrate Christmas together.
Well, as we can see there, Fiona, everyone was bundled up a little bit more than they have been the last few, weeks, as those temperatures are starting to kind of come back to seasonal values.
Yeah, we definitely dipped back down again today. Started out with a low of -13 and wind chills of -16. Warmed up to -6 and a wind chill of -12. That's still not bad for this time of year. And winds were from the northeast, about 12 to 20 kilometers per hour in the afternoon. Now, if we take a look at what's going on across the region, to the west, temperatures dropped anywhere from about 5 to 7 degrees over the last 24 hours, comparatively speaking. So Fort Frances was pretty close to the freezing mark yesterday. Today, they're at a high of -5, although wind chills are closer to -12 under overcast skies. It gets cooler still as you head into Atikokan, Upsala, Dryden. They're all at -9, -8 in Kenora, -11 in Red Lake, but that is the high for the day, and a wind chill of -18 under mostly cloudy skies. Yesterday it was definitely a little bit warmer, but this is what we should be seeing for this time of year. Eastward into Armstrong and Greenstone, they're both currently at -13. Wind chills are closer to about -16, -17, but lots of clear skies. So they had some sunshine today. It was quite nice. Along the North Shore, fairly seasonal, -9 in Nipigon, -10 in Marathon. Sault Ste. Marie, though, has been holding pretty steady for the last, we'll say, 24 hours. They started out with a low of -1, warmed up to the plus side at 1, and now they're back to -1 under a fair amount of cloud throughout the day. Here in the city of Thunder Bay, we are going to drop down to -8 and wind chills of -14. So as you can see, we're not really going to fall all that much. And temperatures are expected to rise in the overnight hours as we head towards morning because once again, we're going to be on the plus side for tomorrow. I'll have more details on how long that will last and the ever-present patient waiting game for the snow to fall when we might actually see something. That's later on in the news hour.
Well, thank you so much, Fiona. Well, a UN vote for a temporary pause in fighting in Gaza to allow aid in has been pushed back again, this as the war hits its 75th day. We'll have all that and more after the break.
Gaza today is the most dangerous place in the world to be a child.